I want to just make a few announcements that will help us understand the direction that we're going. First of all, for those who attend daily Mass, that will resume on the 27th, which I think I've been saying is Thursday, but it's really Wednesday. But anyway, regardless, Mass will continue on the 27th. Look at your own calendars. But there are going to be some things that people who come to Mass, whether it be daily Mass or whether it be on the weekends, are going to have to follow. First of all, for those who attend Mass, we are asking that masks be worn to Mass. We're also asking, if you have it already at home, to bring some hand sanitizer with you. We do have a little bit at the doors. We do have some at the doors, and so that's there to help you out. But it's good if we can preserve what we have if you have some at home. We will be observing, I don't like social distancing, but physical distancing from one another, both at daily Mass and at the Sunday Masses. Our Sunday Masses will resume Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning this coming weekend, the Solemnity of Pentecost, and it will be the same schedule we use in the fall and in the spring. So the Saturday Mass, the Saturday Vigil Mass will be celebrated at 4:30 in the afternoon, and then our Sunday Mass will be two of them at 9 o'clock and 11:30. At this time, I'm not adding that 7 o'clock Mass in the morning on Sundays. We'll wait and see what happens over these next few weeks. We will resume confessions beginning this Wednesday. You all know that our parish offers the Sacrament of Reconciliation every day. And that's something we don't always hear about in churches nowadays, but it's something that I'm very proud of here, that we hear confessions every day. And so we'll hear confessions throughout the week before or when Masses resume, 45 minutes before Mass, but only for a half hour. And the confessions will be heard in the parish center, and you'll see how that's going to work. And so it's something to remember. Physical distancing will have to happen as well over in the parish center. But we'll set all that up, and we'll be able to guide people through that. There will be an anonymous, it'll have to be anonymous, and we have screens that will help us do so. As I say, our weekend Masses will resume this Saturday and Sunday. Masks need to be worn. Physical distancing will be observed. We are only permitted to have 25% of our current capacity to be able to come and enter the church building. And so I've gone through, and we have a program, which I hope will work, and it will be posted on our website and on Facebook that people can go to. They'll hit the link, and they're able to see how many seats are still available, and you're able to pick your own seats as well. And so by doing that, we're able to make sure that we have the right number. The magic number is 114 right now that we can seat in the church. And if you're a family, you would reserve, if there are 2 empty seats in a row, you fill those 2, and then you have the entire row. So if you've been quarantined together, that can still happen. And so also, for those who don't come to Mass, the 9 o'clock morning Mass on Sundays will be live streamed, and that will continue to happen for the foreseeable future. I do want to remind everyone that you are dispensed from the Sunday obligation, especially those who are at higher risk of the virus, any of those who are homebound, anyone who's sick, otherwise vulnerable. If you're not ready to return yet to church, that's understandable as well. But the big thing also is, if you're sick in any way, stay home. Because we want to do our part to be able to say that we're able to have, as healthy as we can, people in the church. And if the program works, and I'm not counting on it, but if the program works, we'll be able to identify where everybody sat, if God forbid anyone were to contract the disease. And so I hope and pray and believe that won't happen, but we should be ready for that. And also, I want to finish with just a statement that came from the diocese. The diocese had all kinds of information, and I will continue to roll out that information throughout the rest of the week. But I want to read what the diocese wrote because it's perfectly worded. It says, "None of us have lived through a pandemic before. And so there are likely to be mistakes and imperfections as we attempt to do so. We are all likely to make some incorrect assessments and decisions. So all of us need the grace of humility and a spirit of cooperation as we go through all of this together. I realize there are things we are continuing to work on. I know people want to say that not everyone has the internet, so not everybody can sign up. I've said that a number of times. I was happy to see that at number, there are only 10% of people in the country who don't know how to use the internet. But we want to still try find ways to see if we can get to that 10%. But I want to say to all of you, the responsibility of reaching out to those who can't hear or go onto the internet, that's not just ours. That's your responsibility as well. If you know people that don't have access to the internet, don't know how to use it, don't know how to find the Mass, then the responsibility doesn't just fall on the church, it falls on you as well. That's what it means to be a parish and not just individual parishioners. So if you know somebody who can't get to Mass, if you know somebody who doesn't want to go to Mass, but in terms of not knowing how to get on the internet, help them out. Tell them how to get on the internet. Or find ways to project over the telephone, whatever it might be, the Mass itself. And please, as I've said over and over again, be patient. Patient with your questions. We're doing everything that we can. And when we're not patient, when I was in the seminary, and I'm sure Father Raj can attest to this, we learned about something called fraternal correction. Fraternal correction was when something goes on that isn't quite perfect or somebody needs a little guidance. Fraternal correction is to turn to go to that person and say, hey, this is going on, maybe you need to lighten up a little bit or make a little bit of a change. Fraternally. So if we see somebody that's not acting very patient with everything, please, the responsibility falls on all of you to be able to fraternally correct as well. So let's be patient. I promise over the course of this week, I'll be adding on post after post to explain and to show how things will work here in the church. We've been working hard at figuring out how to do things so the rose and communion can flow in a good way. Mass is the same, but it's going to be different too. Things like wearing masks and music will be different. But be patient, and over time we'll get this done. We'll get this right. And when needed, fraternal correction to our brothers and sisters who may be needing just a little more patience as well. Thank you for indulging me for these few minutes. I hope it's been helpful.